Let's get this exciting video content started. I'm even getting this uploaded early because it's been a great weekend. So like and subscribe if you enjoy movie related content before I start to bore you and put you off with my ramblings. Click those buttons just now. Like, subscribe, do whatever you have to do. I'll be here when you come back. Lovely. Done that? All sorted? Good. It's been a wonderful weekend of post and movies, and I want to talk about these things. But first, I need to start with a John Woo related apology. I was very excitable last week, and I was talking about my love for Broken Arrow, which was part of the cinema room weekend time. I also did the full review on my blog, where I do a movie review every day, and have done for on and off for about a decade. So I will put a link in the description if you're interested in reading any of that at all. But obviously, when writing my full review, I mentioned that Woo had previously done Hard Target as his first kind of American mainstream movie. I didn't mention that at all when I was discussing Broken Arrow on video here last week. But all I can say in my defense is, although I was a fan of Jean-Claude Van Damme, and John Woo was on my radar, I can't recall if back then I'd put the two and two together. It didn't seem to be as majorly hyped in my little movie bubble at that time. And I can't even recall if I saw it when it hit video or if I saw it further down the line. Whereas Broken Arrow had the immediate appeal of kind of more people in it that then I recognise. You know, I know a lot of the people in Hard Target now from, just like by face, obviously. Lance Henriksen, Arnold Vosloo, the other people that are in the supporting cast. But for Broken Arrow, I already knew Travolta, I knew Christian Slater, I think I knew Samantha Mathis. Delroy Lindo, I was already a fan of. He was having quite a run in slick Polish blockbuster action fare back then as well as other films that he was in a couple of great Spike Lee movies. But that's all. So when I discuss movie experiences in my life, it is from my perspective at that time. But I did think, oh dear, people will think I've completely forgotten about Hard Target, and I only forgot about it for a minute or two. Anyway, what's next? We'll leave the post till end. I got to the cinema yesterday and I went to see Abigail. Now, if you haven't seen any of the trailers or other marketing about Abigail, there are some surprises that you may enjoy going into it completely blind. There has been a conversation about how much is too much in terms of the trailering and the marketing. I think that Abigail is a really fun film, really good. I absolutely enjoyed it. I'm not sure if they had a way to market it differently, because they do want people to come in from a certain fan base, and I think certainly the first half hour or so plays out in a kind of straightforward manner. The basic plot is a team get together to kidnap a little girl who they're going to hold for 24 hours until they can get $50 million from her rich father. That's the basic premise that I'm going to give you. But yeah, things obviously don't quite go to plan. A lot of fun ensues for fans who are heading along and maybe familiar with the people who are behind the camera and in front of the camera. And I loved it. And I will say that the third act had a few more surprises that I didn't entirely expect. It was nothing completely mind-blowing, nothing that sort of reshaped the wheel, but it was fun stuff and full of unexpected little delights. Plus, on a side note, there were quite a few little Easter eggs that were either I think they were deliberate, but they were done in a way that didn't grind the film to a halt to point them out and seem nice for fans of the movies that are being referenced. So I highly recommend Abigail. It is a fun time at the cinema. It's up to you if you can go in as blind as possible, but if you see any marketing about it and you think it's already been spoiled for you, I would say there are still 1 or 2 surprises in store for you. Let's have another little bit of tea. I'm actually not doing that as some kind of deliberate delaying tactic. I just have a bit of a dry throat. So post-wise, well, I received my copy of Future Noir. It's about the making of Blade Runner. This was mentioned on the podcast of the episode of Not a Bomb podcast, episode 200, a special episode for them. Troy and Brad were discussing Blade Runner and Blade Runner 2049, along with I've got to say it was Troy's son, Cameron, who brought a few great conversation points as well. It was a really good chat about the films. It was a celebration of both the films and Not a Bomb podcast reaching 200 episodes and the community that is built around them, which is really nice to see and hear. And it's kind of what we aim for with our little podcast as well. So please remember that every time you want to comment or join in, because we welcome that. That looks like a really good book. I don't know when I'm going to get to it, but I'm glad to have picked it up from eBay at a pretty decent price. At the same time, I received an order from Indicator. Now, I'm going to show you a few of these movies, and you may think, well, some of those were out last month because I've seen other people present them and show them off, and that is correct. But Indicator had a bundle offer where if you ordered these things together, you could get a discount, but they did say if you order them together, these will be sent out when the later titles are released, and that's absolutely fine. They normally do it kind of either all in one go or just as and when, but you are aware of when they come out and you tend to get them ahead of standard store times. I'm only saying this explicitly because I can't recall if I've complained on video before about what used to happen with Arrow Video, and I would pre-order like usually 4 or 5 titles they were releasing a month. This is going back a few years, and I would get them as and when. It was great, get them as soon as they're released. I'm assuming postage charges changed, or maybe when they were taken over by the Hut Group, or I can't keep track of who owns them now. But then it started to be a case of you might get one, or you might have to wait till all at the end of the month. But there was no new explanation about the system. So I would email, this is my order number, what's happening, and they would reply. And I would say, oh, right, I didn't realise that. And you would just be sitting there for the month watching people who got their new releases like on the day from Amazon or the day before. And you'd just be quite frustrated because the reason for ordering directly from, I'm saying Arrow, but obviously any boutique Blu-ray label is you're supporting them directly, and you're hoping that, you may pay more than the price on Amazon or some other wholesaler. But you get better service from them, you get looked after in a way, you get the product before everyone else can pick it up, really. You feel a little bit special for paying that £1 or £2 more. Indicator are top notch at this. I don't want anyone to ever think of any complaints with their service, with their postage, with their product. They, for me, are at the very top now of the boutique Blu-ray label tree, and they're generally faultless. So I just wanted to clarify that some of these titles, if you're a Blu-ray collector, you'll think, well, those were last month, but I got them together because of, well, you'll see. So the older titles, The Panther Women, there we go, The Bat Woman, and Santo versus the Riders of Terror. As you may have noticed, all 3 of those are more of the Mexican film titles that Indicator are releasing. I believe they've had great results from their Mexican film title selection, and I hope that continues because I've really enjoyed what I've seen so far. Hasn't been too much but certainly the Mexican Macabro box set, Mexican Macabro, is great. Other Santo films that I've watched have been fun, so I'm looking forward to this one. And yeah, they generally tend to be either like quite beautiful or quite inventive and fun, or a complete, you know, mix of all the elements. The Witch's Mirror is still one that I highly recommend to everyone. That is, it's beautiful. But those got delayed because it was time for 2 more Jean Rollin films, and I'm hoping these covers are okay for YouTube. One is called The Nude Vampire, but I believe there's some tasteful covering just there. And the other one is The Demoniacs, I'm going to say. The usual selection of great extra features and just gorgeous supplementary material is in each set. This will go with my other, I think I've got half a dozen now for Jean Rollin. I mentioned Fascination last week. Lips of Blood is up there. What else have we got? The Shiver of the Vampires, which I've seen before. The Two Orphan Vampires, The Night of the Hunted, and Rape of the Vampire. Now, I can't recall if I've seen those others. I'm sure I've seen Lips of Blood and Shiver of the Vampire somewhere. I think overall I've seen about half a dozen Jean Rollin movies, and that includes The Living Dead Girl, which is a very popular one most people have seen. But I just, you know, I think you either really dig his work, or you're just, if you're lucky, going to enjoy 1 or 2. So I'm a fan. Some of them are less successful than others in the way they are exploring the themes that he likes to explore, and concentrate on the visuals and the artistry. But I'm just happy to keep picking these titles up from Indicator. I'm really enjoying the collection. So if you have any favourites, if you have anything that I should be prioritising, then feel free to let us know in the comments. If you have any favourite Mexican horror movies from yesteryear, because I think Indicator are generally releasing the older titles, I'm going to say 50s and 60s, then let us know in the comments. Generally let us know in the comments, because we want to have that community that Not a Bomb podcast have, and we are jealous of them until we equal them. Just be like that, just be peers. That's it though. It was a good weekend. I'm hoping it's a good week ahead. Hoping you all take care, and I will see you next week, whether that be Sunday, Monday or Tuesday, or if things go horribly wrong, Wednesday.